All right, guys, so this is a Pro Trainer test, a Shield Pro Trainer certification test. As always, I have not watched the video prior to reviewing it now, and this will be my first time watching this video. This is Payton Asher. She is taking the test with an 18-month-old Shepherd Rottie mix. She tells me that the dog was not trained prior to her taking the dog, and the dog had not been off property prior to her starting to train with the dog. So big challenges for her were building the motivation of the dog and confidence of the dog. So let's see how she did. I'm always excited to see what people have come up with for their certification test. So without further ado, let's get started.
My name is Payton Asher, and this is my Shield Pro Trainer test session. Let's go.
So we're going to start with the loose leash walking. The big thing that we're looking for, I like that the dog's kind of free a little bit. Well, I want the dog to be free. I want the dog to acknowledge when she hits the end of the leash. I don't know if Peyton's a little nervous or what, but she's really holding that leash out there. And now the leash is underneath the dog. That's good. Fix the leash. I don't know why she's holding the leash like that. Maybe to try and encourage the dog to go away. Sometimes dogs that are a little bit lower in confidence, they don't want to leave. They want to kind of always stick around their person because, you know, their person is a source of security. So why leave the security, right? You can see that the dog definitely isn't the most confident type of dog. So it'll be interesting to see how things go as the as the test continues. So now we're moving to the off leash.
Thank you.
Important to note, these tests must occur in places where there is distractions present. They cannot occur in the backyard. They cannot occur in a training field. So we have a send to place here. Place command on two separate objects. One place command must be a send to place from no less than 10 feet, and one place command must be under distraction with the handler at a distance of no less than 60 feet. We'll assume that this is the 10-foot send or not. Oh yeah, this is so the send can be 10 feet, but she has to be away from, she has to be away 60 feet. Now, I'm not seeing any distraction here. So let's see kind of where we're at with the distractions. I know we're out. That's a recall. So that place command, in my opinion, there was no distractions present. I mean, there's people in the distance, but I wouldn't consider that. Good down. That's the second recall. She must show 5 recalls. 1 from free and 1 no less than 80 feet. So she's showing the dog broke now, and one thing that you see her do is when the dog kind of, the dog's going to the bathroom. One thing that you see her do is when the dog gets close, she just kind of bumps the dog away from her, like go on. She did mention that one of the challenges for her was getting the dog to leave. So that's a nice sound. That's another recall. So I assume she's just kind of trying to encourage the dog to go and be free and reassure the dog that it can be free. So we got the healing going here. The heal command must be shown for 4 consecutive minutes under distraction. The dog can be on either side of the handler. The dog must not be too far in front, behind, or off the leg. When the handler stops, the dog should sit. There must be distractions present. So we've got a distraction here. Good. Dog didn't really show any behavior change when the distraction passed. I hope I get to see some more of those. Looks like we're in a city park or something like this. So the position and the heeling is good. Now, I would like to see, you can see the dog sniff the ground there, but did re-engage back with the handler. Okay, so hopefully we get some distractions here, because okay, I can see some kids and such. So what I'm looking for in the healing portion is, number one, the display that the dog overall understands the behavior. Number two, that there's a sit in motion. Number two, that the dog can handle being in close proximity to distractions. I've basically seen the dog come close to 2 distractions. I understand this might not be the most busy spot, but it's incumbent upon someone taking the test that they do find the distractions, or that they find a busier spot if there isn't any present here. So I'm, you know, of course we've still got some time here, so I'm going to continue to watch and see if there's more distractions present. The overall demeanor of the dog isn't excessively aroused, which is not allowed. The dog is not excessively stressed either. You can see some stress in the body language, but judging from what I know of the dog, you know, the challenge when you're grading these tests is you have to understand that one dog doing something is not the same as another dog doing something. We're dealing with different temperaments. We're dealing with, you know, different genetic behavior, so on and so forth. You know, you can see that the dog isn't maybe necessarily the most confident dog based on what she's saying and based on the presented body language. The dog isn't in like a state of like, you know, stress or shutting down or anything like that, but the dog also isn't like super outgoing. Would I like to see the dog a little more free? Yes. But am I going to judge it the same as if the dog is normally like free and open? The one thing that I watch for is when they break the dog from the obedience, right? When they break the dog from the obedience, that was a send to place, I assume. When they break the dog from the obedience, does the dog's body language change when the dog is free? Dogs that have excessive stress in the obedience and it's a training problem instead of a genetic problem, when you free the dog, they're like, woo, and they take off, and their body language changes 180 degrees. With this dog, when you see her break the dog, it doesn't change. Like, the body language is still like kind of the same body language. There's no significant change in the body language. So for me, you know, I can see it's kind of more of like her default behavior is to kind of be like this. And, you know, those are certainly more challenging dogs to train. Now, okay, we've got a place command with distractions. And the dog appears to be completely uninterested.
That's the command. Very nice.
In fact, the happiest you will see this dog is on a recall, which is a good sign. You like to see a dog happy on the recall. When the dog is miserable on the recall, and when the dog is happy free and not happy in the obedience, that's a big sign there's something wrong, right? But what we see here is actually that the dog is happiest with the handler. She's showing some nice motion exercises, a nice sit, nice down in motion. Down in motion, handler must show a down without pausing in their walk. Once the down is shown correctly, the handler may show a 1 minute down, stay or break the dog, and show the long down on the next iteration. Long down, the dog The handler must shield it down for no less than 1 minute under some distraction. The handler must move to a distance of 80 feet and can break the down after the allotted time has expired with a recall or going to pick the dog up. I believe she's already like 4 recalls in, so she only has to do 5 of them. So we'll see what she elects to do here. Again, I would like, there's supposed to be some distraction. There's a distraction. Gentleman walking by. Again, I would have liked to see a little more. It's also kind of hard to pick out the small details because the video is a little fuzzy. I don't think it's my internet. I think it might just be the quality of the video. So I can't see like all the small things in the dog's behavior. I mean, the dog's certainly showing a correct behavior. By the way, guys, in case you're wondering why I'm like hypercritical, it's because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Anybody can be like rah, rah, rah. You know, I'm supposed to be picking this stuff apart. So she broke the dog. And again, I insist on saying this. I love to see dogs free. I want to see what they do because it tells me a lot about the dog. And it tells me a lot about the training. And you can see that she is unsure when she's free. I'll say this dog needs a little more time off leash, just kind of not doing anything, but walking around and experiencing the world and learning to love it a little more. Ah, that's good, little bunny. You can see she got a little excited there with the bunny. You can see the body language of the dog is relaxing a little bit. Go on, get. I know this problem with dogs like this. They never want to go. They're just like, no, I'm going to stay with you. I'll just stay with you. I'm not going. But for me, with a dog like this, I will do, you know, just from a training standpoint, I'm not doing that much obedience. Like, I know she had to do obedience for the pro trainer, but you see the dogs just like, the dog doesn't want to go and just experience things. And you see, again, the dog likes doing things with her. That's security for the dog. The dog, you know, it speaks well to their relationship that the dog enjoys doing things with her and finds a lot of security in working with her. But for the dog itself, I would say, you know, this dog needs more, like, I don't think this is her dog, but the dog needs to be loose more, and the dog needs to just, like, kind of go out and experience the world. And like I said earlier, learn to love it. I think it'll really do a lot for the dog overall mentally. But the obedience so far has all been shown correctly. That's what I want to see more of. And I know, again, she's showing the pro trainer test, and it's not just the test of walking the dog loosely. But I want the dog to be just more like, yeah, go, walk around, you know. You could be roughly around me, but you don't have to be right on me. Just go and go, be free and do your thing. And smell, pee, do your thing, you know. It's funny, we're doing a pro trainer test, and I'm talking about behavior training. I don't think with this dog that there's any concern like that the dog's going to run off or anything. You can see that for this dog, it's like there's little value in being free, you know. I think she's shown everything that she needs to show. Healing, sit in motion, down in motion, down, stay, sit, stay, place command on 2 separate places, loose leash walking. So the dog made a mistake there, and she verbally fixed the dog. She has not corrected or rewarded the dog. The people that are doing this test are allowed to reward and or correct the dog one time in the test. Again, this is a test of functional obedience. It's, can you train the average pet to behave, in public, to be off leash, to not pull on a leash, all these things that, it's important for the dog to be able to do. We want to see if the dog can do it. So that's the purpose of this test. It's not to show if you can train nice sporty obedience or doggy dancing or anything like this. This is a practical test to prove that you are competent to train pet dogs. Now I think Payton has done that. Dog has shown correctly all the exercises. My two criticisms is I would have liked to see more distractions. Not because I think it would have changed the behavior of the dog, judging by what I did see, but because I think it would have looked, better from a testing standpoint. I would have liked to see the dog a little more free in the loose leash walking, a little more free in the free time. I know that this is a struggle for her, but for the dog. Speaking of the dog. Those are my two criticisms, and of course I have to give these criticisms. So I think all that being said, if I was Payton, maybe I would have engaged in a structured play session, like, a few seconds in the middle of this, just to kind of amp the dog up and open the dog up a little bit. There wouldn't have been any harm in that, and for a dog like her, I would think that that would actually be a good thing. But overall, again, all the behaviors were shown correctly. Other than these criticisms that I've mentioned, I think that this is a good example of good functional training. And today, for me, Payton has passed, and I'm going to be giving her I would say, for me, it's a 7.5 out of 10. That's my grade for Payton. Good job, Payton. Congratulations on becoming a pro trainer. I will be sending you the video test, and once that's complete, you will be certified and on the website.